up while they tear you down, but still you never give up. You never give up.
They want to stoke the fire as you hope to rise. It was mostly lies that you broke inside. I know it's all love, I just gotta complain. I got your back, we gon' rise to the flames. You'll be at it again. I won't let go. I'll be by your side. Won't let you drown.
WWE hosted what was called a press event, a press conference. It really wasn't much of a press event. It was more of a rah-rah cheerleading event in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena, a free event for fans to attend, the WrestleMania 40 kickoff for a show in Philadelphia, but they were in Las Vegas because the Super Bowl is this weekend. There was some talk about the possibility of them maybe announcing next year's WrestleMania for Vegas, which would be great. It's been a while since they've been to Vegas for a WrestleMania. But they were right down the road from Super Bowl 58 coming up on Sunday. This event, let me just say this first. Having watched the entire thing, this event was clearly designed by Endeavor and the Brain Trust in WWE. And we're going to see more of this going forward to mimic the sort of thing that you would see in UFC. And Endeavor has a lot of experience in this. Working with UFC, but they worked it very, very similar to the kind of event that you would see before a big fight or before a big UFC event. They rented out this entire building, and again, there were no matches or anything like that, but it was just to get people talking about WrestleMania. And so they had all the key players there. They had Roman Reigns, and they had The Rock, and they had Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, and they had Bianca, and they had Rhea and Becky. Interesting that they would have Bianca there, but there was no Io, there was no Bayley, even though their women's title match has been made official for WrestleMania. Bianca, we don't know what she's going to be doing yet at WrestleMania. We'll find out soon. But right down to all of the arrivals that they show for all the wrestlers as they're getting off the plane and as they're getting into the building. We've been seeing this the last several weeks on TV. This is one of those production changes that kicked in after Kevin Dunn left the company. And we started to see this on Raw, we started to see this on SmackDown, and we saw it again tonight. And we're going to be seeing a lot more of this going forward. But we wanted a decision. What is WWE going to do to fix this mess involving Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and The Rock? Because it was pretty clear to me that Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble and pointed at Roman Reigns, and we had our WrestleMania Night 2 main event. Until we didn't. And then we all saw what happened on SmackDown last week when Cody Rhodes willingly gave up his match with Roman Reigns that he wanted. He wanted Roman Reigns. He wanted that WWE title. And I'm going to take it from you, he said, but not at WrestleMania. And then The Rock returned, and everything went to hell. Everything got flipped upside down. And it made Cody look really bad, because why would this guy, after winning the Royal Rumble, and after what happened to him last year, willingly step aside? Even now, as I sit here and we talk about what we're going to talk about here, that question still really hasn't been rectified. But Cody earlier today said, I've made my decision. And that's really what today was all about. What was his decision going to be? Because it seemed like he had already made up his mind. But the decision that he made is that he is going to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Now, if you would have told me that 2 weeks ago, I would have said, yeah, no shit. I watched the Royal Rumble. I saw it all go down. Even I wouldn't have been able to predict all the bullshit that we have seen over the last 6 or 7 days. But that was his decision, which he is entitled to because he won the Rumble. Only it wasn't made official during the press conference, but I did notice that only a few minutes ago, Triple H did post on social media. He posted the poster, the graphic is up, and so per Triple H, the match is official, and it will be Roman Reigns defending the undisputed WWE title against Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. And that is the most important takeaway from this event tonight. For all the stuff that I'm going to get into here about what happened and at the end, and there's still some confusion over exactly where this is going to go, Cody Rhodes is going to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Is he going to win? Are there going to be more people added to that match? Is there going to be some other convoluted scenario here that plays itself out? It's very possible. All of that is very possible. But what I wanted out of this, just because story-wise, it's the story that makes sense. What I was hoping for when this event was over was that we would get the announcement of Roman and Cody at WrestleMania. And so for that, I am happy. Because at least I know now we have a direction that, at least in some way, makes sense. For this guy and his whole character arc, everything has been building to this rematch all year. But we were left with more questions than answers by the time this thing was over. The Rock was out there doing all of his catchphrases, talking to the crowd. He was getting the what treatment. When was the last time you saw The Rock get the what treatment from the crowd? He was getting more boos than cheers, which you had to know was going to be the case. If you watched television on Monday night, you could already see the crowd reaction to this guy. So he's out there, and he's getting booed. Now, in all these years that we've heard talk about possibly seeing Roman Reigns against The Rock, never in my wildest imagination did I think that when this day, if this day ever came, that it would be a situation where The Rock would be booed out of the building. But here we are. So The Rock was out there playing heel, leaning into it. Now, whether you believe that this whole thing from day one was all part of an elaborate work, or if you believe, as I still do, that when The Rock walked out there on Friday night to confront Roman Reigns, and they cheered for him in Birmingham on that night, but he didn't realize the ferocity of the reaction that was going to come down upon him coming out of that show on Friday night. Whatever you believe, the entire road to WrestleMania that they love to talk about so much now is still littered with more questions than answers. What happens now with Seth Rollins? Seth Rollins was out there on stage, living up to his reputation per Roman Reigns of being the little brother. He was almost just kind of forgotten about in the background there. What's his WrestleMania path look like? We know CM Punk, who was there tonight. We know CM Punk is hurt. He's not wrestling at WrestleMania. There was no clarity given to what his direction for the show is going to be either. And so, again, we have a lot to get into here as far as what happened. We're going to start from the top. We're going to work our way down. There was some news made here during this. Again, I can't call it a press conference, so we'll just call it a kickoff event. That's what they called it. And thank you, by the way, for joining me here. We are live on YouTube, and this is a special Thursday night live stream here on the Solomonster Sounds Off channel. Do me a favor here before we get going here. Hit that like button. Super chats are open. You'll see them popping up. I'm going to pause them every now and then, but they will be coming through. I promise you I will read it. I want to know what you guys thought. I want to know what you guys think is going to be the scenario that plays out with these main events at WrestleMania. Even though they've announced Cody against Roman, do you think it will actually end up being one-on-one Cody against Roman? Where, if anywhere, does Seth fit into the equation here? So chime in, let me know what you think, and then I will put the poll up later.
Jerry Lawler
Got a poll up on Twitter I got to show you guys.
All hail Gunther.
Hey, Aaron, thank you for the $50 Gunther bomb, getting us started early here. Aaron, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much. But yeah, I'm going to show you the Twitter poll I put up earlier today about which match you guys would prefer to see at WrestleMania. We had well over 3,000 votes, so we'll go to that later. But they opened the event here with a shot of Lincoln Financial Field, which is where WrestleMania is going to be held in Philly in April. And then they came back to Las Vegas, which is where they were tonight. And again, they showed footage at this point of everybody arriving to the building. They showed Paul Levesque showing up, and they showed Cody Rhodes. And, you know, there were boos mixed in with the cheers, but there were a lot of cheers for Cody. They showed Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns, and they showed The Rock arriving, coming off the plane, and he was heartily booed by the majority of the crowd there at the T-Mobile Arena. Now, the event was free to attend. It looked like they packed in the building pretty good. I don't know how many people they had there, but it looked full. Michael Cole was our host, and they had a panel, so think of the kickoff panels they have, kind of in the middle of the arena. It was the same setup here. Michael Cole was the host. He had with him Pat McAfee, Big E. It was great to see Big E, and Big E's been doing a lot of media for them in his time since he got hurt. And CM Punk, who had the big brace on his arm. He's only 1 week removed from tricep surgery, and they asked him about that, and he was heartbroken that he can't compete at WrestleMania, and he's not happy because he's still not where he wants to be, even though he's only a week out. But he's a little salty. But then again, when is CM Punk not salty, right? That's what made him famous, was him being salty. So the way they introduced Punk, they ran down all of his accomplishments. And the last accomplishment, and I will not disagree with this, I would call this an accomplishment, was that he is the husband of AJ Lee. I don't know about you, I would call that an accomplishment. So Cole asked Big E about his neck. He said that he's grateful, he's in great health. He did not say anything about a return to the ring, which may never happen. Nothing like that, but he was in good spirits. And he's talked about this before. You know, he's living a normal life. He's not in pain. There's no limitations as far as his training. You know, he's still big and jacked up. And he's able to live a normal life. And honestly, that's the most important thing. If he never sets foot in the ring again, I mean, he may feel differently. In my mind, though, that's not a big deal. The fact that he came out of that pretty much unscathed and he can live a normal life, that's the most important thing. So Cole asked Pat McAfee about having Rock on his show. The Rock was on Pat McAfee's show earlier today, and the crowd booed. And then they started chanting, "We want Cody." Then there were some Rocky chants, a few Rocky chants mixed in there as well. And then he mentioned the Cody Crybabies. And he got booed for that. And what that was in reference to, and I'm sure many of you have seen the clip. I watched the entire segment. Rock was on his show earlier, but while he was on McAfee's show, he was asked about the reaction coming out of SmackDown on Friday. Did he expect that kind of reaction from the crowd to that segment? He claimed that he did, and he made reference to the Cody Crybabies. He was clearly in character here. And he was basically cutting a promo on a certain segment of the fans that I'm sure have been tweeting him nonstop all week. And by the way, also tweeting and sending messages to his daughter, Ava, the general manager on NXT, who has since deactivated her account because she claimed that she received numerous death threats. In case you needed an example of how absolutely psychotic the wrestling fan base can be, there you go. Please don't be one of those people. So they basically bullied her off of social media. He didn't seem very happy about that. And maybe this is why he went off, frankly, on the Cody Crybabies. He was going off on the people who took it to such an extreme that they actually sent death threats to his daughter, who has absolutely nothing to do with any of this. At the end of the day, what are we talking about here? We are talking about a wrestling storyline. So don't be like these fucking idiots out there who are tweeting and Instagramming and sending death threats to this girl who didn't do anything. But he was talking about these fans and mocking them. So they also, on this special, they had backstage interviews. So they had Jackie Redmond was back there, and they had Byron Saxton. He was stationed in the back. He interviewed Paul Heyman about what mood Roman Reigns was in. And then they had breaking news. And this is something that we had heard a little something about maybe a couple months ago, but there was no official announcement made. But we heard about this thing called WWE Speed, which is not some kind of new drug that they're marketing to the talent. There's a new show WWE is partnering with Twitter. They're partnering with X. I mean, think about what we're talking about here. We're talking about Speed and X. What are we doing here? But Speed is coming to X. They're going to launch this new show in April. It's going to showcase timed matches, I think of 5 minutes or no more than 5 minutes. They just filed a trademark for the WWE Speed name yesterday. And they had filmed some matches a couple months ago, back in December. First few matches. And they had Corey Graves and I guess Kevin Patrick was ringside with Corey Graves to do commentary. So obviously, if they air those matches are going to have to be recut as far as the commentary because Kevin Patrick is no more. So the commentary would be outdated at this point. But anyway, that's going to be launching in April. So that's some new concept. You know, people have very short attention spans. So I guess for the casual fans who may not be into the Iron Man type matches or the 30-minute draw that we had to open Dynamite last night, now they can get matches of 5 minutes or less. So we got the party started here. Michael Cole introduced Bianca Belair, actually a video for her, and then out came Bianca Belair. Actually, I'm skipping ahead. I completely skipped over Triple H. So let me start with Triple H. He introduced the Chief Content Officer, Paul Levesque. He came out first, not Bianca Belair. I'm getting ahead of myself here. And he just waxed on about the main event of the very first WrestleMania, Rowdy Roddy Piper and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff against Hulk Hogan and Mr. T, and all of the celebrities that were on the show that night, how WWE went from that and what it was back in the 80s to what it is today, having just signed a $5 billion deal with Netflix. Remember, Triple H, he just wants to talk about the positive. That's all Triple H wants to do, and so he had the chance to go out there and talk about the positive. Again, I am not under the impression there was any media component to this, unless it was off camera when it was over. Maybe they kind of broke away into, individual media sessions. But this was not a press conference at all. If you were press, you could cover it, you could shoot it, but I didn't see anybody breaking out and answering any questions. So he rattled off the names of all the legends that have worked for the company over the years, Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage. He mentioned Mick Foley and Batista and so on and so forth. He says in Philly, they take the company to a whole new level. And he said, this is going to be an all-new WWE. By the time this Vince McMahon stuff is over, it may literally be an all-new WWE. Then we got a video to introduce officially the first guest, which was Bianca Belair. And she came out, she plugged her new reality series on Hulu with Montez Ford. She talked about her and Sasha Banks making history. First 2 black women to wrestle in a WrestleMania main event. That was back at WrestleMania 37. She talked about beating Becky Lynch at WrestleMania 38 and beating Asuka at WrestleMania 39. She says now she's not walking into WrestleMania as a champion. And she wants to continue her undefeated streak. She may not know what lane she's going to be in, but she will be on the road to WrestleMania because you cannot spell WrestleMania without EST. Thank you for the spelling lesson. Yeah, it's not clear what they're going to do with Bianca Belair. Every WrestleMania that this woman has been a part of so far, she has either been not doing that. Hey, Lloyd Berry, thank you for the Brie mode. Every WrestleMania, she's either fighting for a title or defending one. And now she's going into her first WrestleMania, no titles on the line. Unless they were to do a tag team title match. And I threw this out there as a possibility the other day. We know Jade Cargill is on her way to the main roster. She was on television this past week. She's being courted by both GMs. And it sounds like kind of the betting money is that she's going to end up on Monday Night Raw. But if she were to end up on SmackDown, I think, eventually you could do Bianca against Jade. She's not ready for that yet. You could do a tag team match. And you could do Bianca and Jade against the Kabuki Warriors for the women's tag team titles. Absent that, the only other thought that I had, Tiffany Stratton from NXT, she just debuted on SmackDown. So you could definitely do Bianca and Tiffany. at
Look,
WrestleMania.
everyone, it's Samoa BRO.
You know, otherwise I'm not sure what the idea would be for her otherwise, but that was her segment here. Next up, we got a video introducing the Women's World Champion, Rhea Ripley, who was super over here in Las Vegas. Lots of chants for her, lots of mommy chants. She was a huge babyface. She says she's walking into WrestleMania and walking out as the most dominant woman ever to hold a title in this company. She said it was no surprise that Bayley decided to cash in her Royal Rumble title shot on Io Shirai. Going a little old school there with the Io Shirai reference. And I think she realized it right away, but she kept going. It's Io Sky, but to us, she's still Io Shirai. Because had she cashed in her Royal Rumble win to face her, Bayley knows that she would have lost. Then she mentioned the Elimination Chamber match to crown a #1 contender for her title. And after she beats Nia Jax, she'll be ready to face whoever that person is. And that brought out Becky Lynch. As of Monday, she says the man is officially in the Elimination Chamber for the first time ever, which means she's going to win the Elimination Chamber for the first time ever, which means in front of Rhea's friends and family in her home country, she is going to challenge Rhea for her title, or to a title match, at WrestleMania. That is, if Rhea can get past Nia Jax first. Rhea says it doesn't matter who she faces because mommy is always on top. But it does matter who she faces because, and this is Becky talking, because she has made a legendary career out of knocking Golden Girls out of their top spots. So mommy is going to learn what it's like to be a bottom. That was a good line. Because that's what happens, she said, when the man comes around. And then we got our face-off. Again, like something you would see out of a boxing weigh-in or an MMA weigh-in. We got them face-to-face. Adam Pearce came out, kind of got in between them. And that really is the money match
it's Samoa
for that
BRO.
title of WrestleMania. It's Becky Lynch against Rhea Ripley. It's always been Becky Lynch against Rhea Ripley. It's been that way for months. That is going to be, that should be, your women's title match at WrestleMania. Becky against Rhea is one of the top 2 biggest women's matches that this company can do right now. The 2 matches are Becky against Rhea and Rhea against Bianca. Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair is going to be a huge match at some point. They were the final 2 in the Royal Rumble a few years ago. And even then I said, these 2 women right here are going to be the women that lead this company as far as the women's division for the next 5 or 10 years. I mean, even back then you knew. And they've kept them apart ever since, which is smart because I think that's your WrestleMania 41 match. But those are the 2 top women's matches they could do right now. So to me, it would be crazy not to do Rhea and Becky this year. Roman Reigns on Friday, if you remember, said that Seth Rollins wears his wife's clothing and goes around calling himself the guy. Which, again, I am still, as I sit here now thinking back to that segment, not even a week old, the way that he absolutely buried Seth Rollins and buried the World Heavyweight title. Not that anything he said was wrong. Everything that Roman Reigns said in that segment last Friday was 100% correct. From the moment that title was introduced, I called it the consolation belt. He calls it the loser bracket belt. I think the consolation belt sounds better. But I've been saying that since day one. And every point that he made in that segment was fact. But again, it just hits differently when you hear their top star go out there on television and say those things about the guy on the other show and the belt on the other show. But I bring that up because he said that he wears his wife's clothing. He calls himself the guy. Well, Seth was out here again wearing his wife's clothing. Out comes the World Heavyweight Champion on stage. And all the fans in the building, they sang his song. He said, let's cut to the chase and get ourselves a main event. He goes, I'm not the man to make that decision. So let's get the man who can make that decision out here. The 2-time Royal Rumble winner, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And then out came not Cody Rhodes. It was Roman Reigns music. And instead we had Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. They walked out. At least he had a short distance to walk. It didn't take 10 minutes before he finally said his first words. Roman told Las Vegas to acknowledge him. Rollins said, hey guys, he showed up for work for a change. Roman said, let's talk about someone who matters right now. And he got a mix of Rocky chants and Cody chants. And then he said, let's talk about Cody Rhodes. The man who cannot make his own choice, Mr. Hesitation. He looked into the camera. He said, here's a life lesson, all you kids out there. If you hesitate, your moment is going to move on. He says it's no longer Cody's decision. It is his decision. And so tonight, he chooses who faces him in the main event of WrestleMania. It's good to be the king. I guess you get to make those types of decisions. And then he waved off Rollins. Rollins was off to his side. He kind of waved him off. He told someone to get this bum out of here. So the burial continues. And Roman says he chooses The Rock. And then The Rock's music hit, and he walked out to a very different reaction than the one he got when he walked out there in Birmingham last Friday. Because when he walked out there last Friday in Birmingham, it caught everybody by surprise. And when you have somebody like The Rock, who is coming out there getting a surprise pop, and this is what people don't understand when they're like, yeah, but you know, Rock walked out there last Friday and you heard the crowd. Well, first of all, Rock is one of the biggest stars in the world. But also, if you take any major star from the past and you send them out there when people aren't expecting them to be there, especially somebody like The Rock, they're going to get a pop. They're going to get it more than a pop. They're going to get a fucking Road Warrior pop. They're going to get a huge reaction. Well, everybody knew Rock was going to be at this event tonight. They hit his music, he came out, and he got booed. Because he's not the guy that they want to see challenge Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. This reaction to me was more true to life to the reaction, the way that the fans are feeling about this guy at this time. So, very interesting, by the way, I thought that they would have Rock come out first before Cody. Because I thought they're going to give Cody the big kind of finale entrance here. As it turned out, Cody didn't get any entrance. Seth Rollins got an entrance. Roman Reigns got an entrance. The Rock got an entrance. Cody Rhodes, when he came out later, he just walked out there. No pomp and circumstance, no pyro, no whoa. He got no entrance. But I thought it was interesting. I thought they were setting him up like, okay, they're going to put the spotlight on him and give him the big entrance after The Rock. Once the music stopped, it was all boos for The Rock. And he went to go speak. He put the mic up to his hand, he put the hand up to his mouth, and they wouldn't let him speak. They booed him. He went to speak again. Again, they booed. He finally did the line, you know, finally The Rock has come back to Las Vegas, and they booed him. He goes, do you think that Roman Reigns is going to beat The Rock at WrestleMania? And that got a mixed reaction. Even some yes chants were mixed in there. Or, he says, do you think that The Rock is going to beat the Tribal Chief at WrestleMania? Boo! They booed this man. Then we got chants of We Want Cody. I couldn't tell if it was mixed in with Cody sucks or Rocky sucks. It might have been both. It was hard to tell. And then he said, or, do you think Rock against Roman Reigns will be the biggest main event in the history of WWE? And that got more boos. You cannot tell me that when this match was initially conceived of years ago, even last year, Rock has said they were going to do it at WrestleMania 39. You cannot convince me that at the time that they thought they might actually do this match, that this is the kind of reaction they thought they would get. That they would send these guys out there, and the mere mention of the possibility of them wrestling each other would get Rock booed. But here we are. So they're booing him. And he said, all right, I love the passion. So to the members of the press, welcome. Glad you're here. To the WWE Universe, welcome. And certainly to the millions and millions of Rock's fans, welcome. And on top of all of that, I introduce you to the Cody Crybabies. And all the fans, they booed. They didn't like that. Because now, it was clear on McAfee's show earlier that Rock is heavily leaning into this on purpose. Now, again, you could, in your infinite wisdom, if you believe that the whole thing was a work from day one, or if you believe that they were going to go this way, and now they're going this way. Whatever you believe, at least they're leaning into it. They're not ignoring it. They're not trying to mask it. They're not sticking their fingers in their ears and pretending that it's not happening, because they can't. They can't. If they really honestly were not expecting how intense this reaction was going to be, the fans made it so that it is impossible for them to ignore. And if you believe that from day one, this was not a work, and plans changed and they decided to go with the bigger match, whatever their rationale was, it's just what Rock wanted, or they're trying to distract from all the controversy with Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis, which I don't doubt is part of the play here. They're more than happy to distract from all of that other stuff that's going on. And they can do that, and they'll be successful at that for a little while. That story is not going to go away. So if that's part of the play here, it's not going to work. I'll just put that out there right now. But whatever you believe as far as the rationale for all of this, Rock is leaning into it as a heel. Hollywood Rock all those years ago, very entertaining. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see enough of it. And that was over 20 years ago. It was 2003. It is 2024. It's a lifetime ago. So even the hint of Rock acting heelish it's refreshing, is what it is. It's refreshing to see that, again, he is at least acknowledging the reaction. He's playing into it. He's leaning into it. He says, now let The Rock show you all. I'm going to show you something right now that's very important. It's very cool. And this is where they started whatting him to death. Everything The Rock said, they gave him the what treatment here. He said, I think you're going to like it a lot. One thing for damn sure, you're going to respect it. And they showed up on the big screen, because again, it was just a stage and they had the giant screens, the giant LED screens like they use for TV. And on the screen was a gigantic family tree. It had to be, it was the Samoan dynasty. I got a headache just looking at this thing. People have asked me over the years, like in the mailbag and stuff, to try to trace the family lineage for like the Anawai family and the whole Samoan family. It's not just one family, but it's impossible. So they put this family tree up there, and I was just getting a headache just looking at it. He goes, when you look at this family tree, I want you to look at the very top of the tree. The Rock's grandfather and Roman's grandfather made a blood oath. I guess they made a blood oath to fuck over Cody Rhodes. They made a blood oath. He says it shows there is only one royal and dominant family in professional wrestling. Well, it's certainly not the McMahon family anymore. If you can't see that, and if you think that The Rock and Roman Reigns is not the biggest main event in WrestleMania history or in WWE history, then save your boos. If that's what you think, then in simple Rock speak, it doesn't matter what you think. And Seth Rollins, by the way, at this point, he's still standing out there. He's off to the side. He looks bored. He looks like an afterthought. He looks like, looked like a kid, like, hey guys, I'm still over here. So he was still out there. The Rock said it would be the undisputed champion against the people's champion. And he stressed people's champion. Whether you like it or not, in the biggest main event in the history of professional wrestling. Bound by blood. And then he put his arm out for a handshake, like a bro shake, and Roman took his hand, and they shook, and now we heard a voice. This is where I thought we were going to get Kingdom, and out comes Cody Rhodes. Well, out comes Cody Rhodes, but he just walks out there. He's like, hold on. He said, this right here is bullshit, and they censored it. In fact, there was a lot of profanity going around, and it was all censored, which was too bad. But he said this is bullshit, echoing the sentiments of a lot of people watching that show on Friday last week. Cody said that Roman's out here calling the shots, and as the champion, he's got a lot of stroke. But it's not his right, it's his. Because he won the Royal Rumble. And Rock, we had a wonderful conversation. He says, I have made my decision. He looked back at Seth. So he kind of looked at Seth and he looked at the World Heavyweight title. He pondered things here for a moment. He goes, at WrestleMania 40 in the main event, I choose Roman Reigns. And the fans cheered. Roman said, you must be stupid or something. He goes, this is a done deal. You're old news. He goes, go over there. The number 2 table will have you now. As if the grave wasn't dug deep enough last week. He took the shovel and had to dig it a little bit deeper. Poor Seth Rollins, he will never be able to climb his way out of this hole. But he told him, go sit by the number 2 table over there. He says, loser bracket over there with the dummy in green. Last year was your moment. He says, nobody cares about your story. Nobody cares about you finishing your story. You're embarrassing. He goes, your entire family now. You're irrelevant, just like your dad. And, when you say that to Cody Rhodes, anybody who watched Back to the Future, it's like calling Marty McFly a chicken. You just don't do that, right? You want to get a reaction out of him, make a comment about Dusty, and it'll stop him in his tracks. Cody said, you're out here talking about family. He goes, how's Jay doing? He said, they're nothing but lackeys and yes men. He's talking about Solo and Jimmy who were not there. He goes, they're goons. And what's this about? This whole, who sits at the head of the table? He says, what does it matter when neither of you have been doing the cooking for 2 years? He says, if your grandfather was here, and he looked at Rock and he talked about the High Chief. He says, if the High Chief was here, he said, they would be ashamed of you. So Triple H comes out, Adam Pearce comes out, and they're not getting in between them. They're in the background though. They're watching because they know this thing is about to explode. It's like a powder keg. And so they're standing there. So Rock steps to Cody. Not Roman Reigns. Rock steps to Cody. He says, let me make something perfectly clear to you. When you talk about his family, looking at Roman, he says, you're talking about my family. And the crowd started to what him again. He goes, when you're talking about his ancestors, you're talking about my ancestors. And when you're talking about his blood, you're talking about my blood. He says, and now we have a problem. Rock hauled off and he slapped the shit out of Cody Rhodes. Cody got hot, tried to lunge for him. They all had to be separated. They had to restrain Cody. Seth started yelling at Rock. I think Seth just felt left out of the whole equation here. He's like, well, I got nothing else to do. I may as well get myself involved here in this situation and try to make myself relevant because nobody's talking about me. So Seth now is getting up in The Rock's face and he's yelling at him. They're cursing back and forth at each other. It was very interesting that it was Rock who stepped to Cody and not Roman Reigns, as if Rock was taking on the mantle of Tribal Chief. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So after they calmed things down, the event was over at that point. They pitched it back to the panel at the desk, and CM Punk, he went off on Cody being too polite, and he was talking about how Cody just has to punch Rock in the face. And he started going off on the whole roster and everybody around here, and everybody's got a man bun, and I don't mean on their head. And he goes, we need more people to punch people in the face. Well, if anybody would know something about getting pissed off and punching people in the face, it's CM Punk. But he wants people to start punching each other in the fucking face. In the back after, some people may have turned it off, but they did eventually cut backstage. And Jackie Redmond was starting to interview Triple H. And you could see in the background, Roman, Rock, Heyman. They're coming in this direction. They're coming kind of towards where they are while the interview is being conducted. And Rock sees Triple H, he stops. And, honestly, I saw Rock and Triple H there, and I'm still it still bothers me that we never got that final match between them. It bothers me we never actually got a proper match, a singles match between Rock and Triple H, because their feud was great back in the day. I mean, there may have been a professional jealousy there, and I'm sure there was a lot of competition between the two, and there's been stories about Triple H and Shawn Michaels politically trying to play games and fuck The Rock over. And Rock, I'm sure, is well aware of that and never forgot that. But their feud was great, and they had a lot of great matches together. It never had a proper WrestleMania match. They were going to do it in Dallas at 32. And Rock's schedule just didn't allow for it. And now Triple H can't wrestle anymore because he's got, the pacemaker or whatever he's got in his chest. He's done. You would almost think watching what happened here that maybe they were building to Rock and Triple H, but Triple H can't wrestle. But Rock got up in Triple H's face. He starts swearing, which, again, they kept censoring it. And he's telling Triple H to fix it. Fix it. And Triple H tells Rock, you're out of line. And Rock says, if you don't fix it, we will. And Rock walks off. And Roman follows behind him. This is the first time in the 3 years, 3.5 years, whatever it's been, since Roman Reigns came back and won that title, that Roman felt like little brother. The Rock comes back. The Rock he's rubbing shoulders with Roman Reigns. They left together. They left together, side by side. And the way this segment went down and the way Roman almost, kind of like dragging ass behind The Rock here, it's the first time that he felt like little brother since he came back and started doing this whole tribal chief gimmick in WWE. And that was the event. That was all of the fireworks and everything that happened as far as the event itself. I will say this. I thought the angle they shot here was very entertaining. I will give them that. I didn't know where they were going to go with it. I thought it was entertaining. I can't say that it makes a lot of sense. They still have some work to do there. Because again, we saw Cody Rhodes go out on television last week when he was supposed to give us his decision and flat out say, I will not be wrestling Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. And now all of a sudden, Cody Rhodes is wrestling Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Now they could always incorporate this whole Rock went on Pat McAfee show and started calling all my fans the Cody crybabies, and it pissed me off how dismissive he was being, and so I changed my mind, right? I mean, there's always a way that they could try to explain it. That part of it, though, still really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And also, I think if they were going to do the angle in this way, they could have had weeks worth of television. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, however long, of people on the roster trying to convince Cody that he made the wrong decision. Dude, you won the Royal Rumble. This is your shot. This is your moment. The Bloodline screwed me. They screwed this guy and this guy. They screwed you too. You're just going to give it up? Have CM Punk out there, right? What would Dusty do? Right? There was a lot they could have done there, and they didn't do it. But in the span of less than 1 week, we have now had a total about face. And the question is, why did we get this about face? Because I still believe that the reaction was so intense that it did force some changes in what they were going to do. Now, if it comes out at the end of all this that wasn't the case, they hatched this plan a month ago, 2 months ago, and they worked us all, and every bit of it was, conceived of in advance and planned for, and it was so easily manipulated, then bravo to them, except for the fact that, again, I still go back to last Friday and say that was a stupid fucking way it all went down. That they don't get a pass for, because that was very dumb, and they did bury Seth Rollins in the process. But again, Rock was on Pat McAfee's show earlier today claiming, oh yeah, I knew the reaction that I would get, after what happened last Friday. Again, I don't know that I believe that. But here's the only thing that matters at this point. Because I really don't give a shit. I'm not here to take credit for anything. I mean, you may have people like, oh, I knew they were going to do this. I knew they were going to do that, right? Bullshit. It's not about that. You know what I care about? Here's what I care about. Here's the only thing that matters to me, to this one fan, is that we are getting Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, which is exactly the match that should be taking place. We don't yet know if he's going to have to jump through some hoops to get there, although Triple H seems to have made it official on Twitter. We don't know if there may be, again, people added to the match, if they may have Roman wrestling multiple times WrestleMania weekend, right? Those questions still have yet to be answered. But I will tell you that after what we saw here, they had no choice. They had no choice. Even if it wasn't the original plan, they were going to do Rock and Roman straight up and push Cody back to SummerSlam or some Madison Square Garden show or WrestleMania 41. They have no choice. After the reaction over the past week and what we saw here at this event, the only match is Cody Rhodes going after Roman Reigns and that WWE Championship. There could be no debate about that now. Now, would they have Cody go in there and get screwed over again, this time by The Rock? Because it sure felt like maybe they were building towards an eventual Rock and Cody match. Would they have The Rock help Roman Reigns and screw over Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania and go that way? I think that would be fucking terrible. I think that having Cody Rhodes get screwed over 2 years in a row would be absolutely awful. You cannot do that. Where all of this leaves little brother is up in the air right now. Seth Rollins walked in tonight not knowing who his opponent was going to be at WrestleMania. And guess what? Seth Rollins still has no fucking idea who his opponent is going to be at WrestleMania. To me, Drew McIntyre and maybe Sami Zayn. That is what would make the most sense to me right now. Drew McIntyre is doing some of the best work of his career. Drew McIntyre is just the ultimate troll. I am loving the shit out of what he is doing right now. And I know he already lost twice to Seth, but having him and maybe Sami Zayn, right? Saw that segment they did on Monday night, sitting in the empty arena, talking to Jackie Redmond, talking about what brought him to this point, realizing last year, after he lost to Roman Reigns, I'm not an underdog. Like, I'm a contender. I can be a world champion, right? There's a story with Sami now to be told. I don't think they have to rush into it personally. I think you can build Sami up for WrestleMania 41 and have him win the World Heavyweight title there. But you could do a triple threat match at WrestleMania. You could do Seth, and you could do Drew, and you can do Sami. At this moment, that would be the most obvious direction for the World Heavyweight title. But you watch this, and my first thought was, are they setting up a tag team match? Are we headed towards the Bloodline, Rock and Roman Reigns on the same side as tag team partners at Elimination Chamber in Perth, big stadium show? Rock and Roman against Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. Are they basically playing the playbook that they did years ago heading into, I guess it would have been WrestleMania 23? Right? Didn't we get a similar type of thing, I think, in the lead up, maybe on the No Way Out show with John Cena, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and Batista, right? Are we following that blueprint here? Are they going to have Rock wrestle his first match in years? It's going to be a tag match in Australia. There's one little problem with that. Seth Rollins is hurt. He's hurt. He's got the meniscus. He's got the MCL. He's not supposed to be back in time for the Elimination Chamber. WrestleMania, he should be good to go. But for him to turn around and be back in action, I mean, when is Elimination Chamber? It's in 2 weeks. I don't think he's going to be cleared to wrestle. So I don't know that that's going to work. But if they wanted to do that, if they wanted to set up a tag team match, Rock and Roman, Cody and Seth, and as far as, the stakes or the stipulation, if Rock and Roman win, then the main event of WrestleMania, Night 2, is The Rock against Roman Reigns. And it doesn't even have to be for the title. It's like he put the family tree up. It could just be for the title of head of the table. The title of tribal chief. Look at Richie Rich over here dropping all this money on me. Oh boy, it's Fahad. I just want you to know, I think you rock. Fahad, man. Not only The Rock,
Thank you, brother.
You rock. And I just wanted you to know that. I had that one paused for a while. I know he's been waiting. Hey, Fahad, thank you, man. Fahad dropping a bomb on me here on a Thursday night. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. So you do a tag team match, and maybe it's Rock and Roman get their match if they win. And if Cody and Seth win, Cody gets his match against Roman for the championship. I don't know why Seth would care about that, because that leaves Seth without a contender. So I don't know why Seth would care. But again, I think Seth's knee is going to prevent that from happening. But here's the thing, when this was over, for the people who were like, oh, they have to do Rock and Roman, what heat does Rock and Roman have coming out of this event tonight? Rock went out there, he put it to the crowd, and he got mostly booed. And he walked out with Roman Reigns side by side. They shook hands, their family, their blood, their cousins, right? Where's the heat now for Rock and Roman? Where's this great desire to see the Rock and Roman go one-on-one? It's gone. It's pretty much mostly gone, I think, after this event here tonight. Rock talks about the long game. He was talking about it even earlier today when he landed and he got off the plane. He looked in the camera. He said, the long gamer, right? He talks about himself as being a long gamer. Hey, Justin, thank you, man, for the $15. That's the song that was playing in Seth's head after that segment last Friday on SmackDown.
It's the amazing Gunther.
Boy, you guys are not letting me take... You guys are not letting up here. Amazing.
Gunther.
Amazing. Aaron with another Gunther bomb. Hey, Aaron, thank you, man. Thank you for the 50. If Rock truly is a long gamer, as he says, it's like I said weeks ago, there's no need to rush into Rock and Roman this year. I feel that way even more so now than I did 24 hours ago. Because now there's no heat for that match. You've now established that there's a match that people would much rather see right now at this moment. Rock has more in common with Roman than he does against him. There's no heat for that right now. So what you do is you build to it for next year's show. And a lot of this honestly hinges upon whether or not Rock is going to stick around. And this is really important now. Because if Rock is, as he said on Pat McAfee's show, if Rock is coming in, he's got a training camp going on, he's got a ring at his place in Hawaii, and out on the West Coast, he's training, he's trying to get back in ring shape, and he's going to wrestle and all this stuff. He's going to wrestle one match and then leave, right? Well, who cares? After tonight, who cares, right? You know what might pique my interest, though? If Rock was going to lean into the heel thing in the long term and stick around and do more than just one quick WrestleMania match and then vanish. And you want to play the long game, here's how you play the long game. You have Rock making semi-regular appearances on television, right? You can't put him out there every week, but he's making semi-regular appearances shoulder to shoulder with Roman Reigns. The Rock is now officially part of the Bloodline on TV. Maybe he's not out there every time the Bloodline is, but they're on the same side. And they're pretty much like this, right? They're simpatico right now. But at some point, something is going to happen. Things are going to fall apart. And a year from now, at WrestleMania 41, is when we get Rock and Roman Reigns. Because then they'll have a chance to really throw some gasoline on the fire and ignite something between them that makes people really want to see the two of them go head to head. And I can't predict a year from now if Roman Reigns would be the babyface and Rock would be the heel, or by that point, Rock is a babyface and Roman is a heel and everyone's cheering for The Rock. But that's how you play the long game. I'd be more interested to see Rock and Roman together for the next 6, 9, 12 months, building to the eventual singles match, instead of giving it away at WrestleMania this year when it's got no heat coming out of this event. That's the long game. And that's a plan that I could get behind if Rock is going to be making semi-regular appearances. I think that would be cool. And then you can build to something big for next year. But you strike when the iron is hot, man. I'm a big believer in that. Cody Rhodes right now is the hot commodity in WWE. Not everybody is a Cody fan. You don't have to be. Take any top star in the history of this company who is, on fire, selling merch, right? Top babyface. Not everybody is a fan. Not everybody was a fan of Daniel Bryan and the Yes Movement, right? I used to get comments all the time. What's so important about this guy? He looks like a goat. He looks like a vanilla midget. I can't understand what people see in this guy, right? He didn't have buy-in from everybody, but he had enough buy-in from their audience that they wanted to see him go all the way and win the title. Kofi Mania in 2019, right? You can't predict these things. But when they happen, it could be a happy accident, as Bob Ross used to call them. Happy accident, you lean into it, you go with it. Cody is the hot hand right now. You didn't go with him last year. All of this, by the way, could have been avoided if Cody would have won the title last year. But that's neither here nor there. He is the guy you go with right now. And I'm happy that he will get that match at WrestleMania this year. The twists and turns that may come now in the lead up and the build up to that, the jury is out. We'll see what they do. I'm intrigued. When this was over, I'm intrigued to see how they're going to fix this and what direction things are going to go in, and if they could really get Rock to come in and do more than just wrestle Roman Reigns. Maybe we end up with a triple threat match. Roman and Cody is happening. If Rock is wrestling at WrestleMania, Rock against Seth Rollins, Would they do Rock and Rollins? Because before tonight, I would have said, what the hell's the point of doing Rock and Rollins, right? What a random match that is. Again, I still don't know what sense that would make, because is Rock going to win the World Heavyweight title? Is that what we're going to do here? We're going to take the workhorse title and put it on someone who is the quintessential part-time performer? That's stupid. You can't do that. Are we going to get Rock and Cody one-on-one? Could that be a SummerSlam match? Could be. Maybe. So I'm intrigued to see where it goes. And at the end of the day, they made the right decision going with Cody. It's the right call. And now the smart thing, though, is because they left this event tonight with more questions than answers, it's going to be a big boon for them now as far as their television. Like, there's going to be a ton of people tuning into SmackDown tomorrow night to see what the fallout is and to see if Rock and Roman are going to be on the show tomorrow night. Because remember, Rock told Triple H, fix this. If you don't fix this, we will. How's Rock going to fix it? He's on the board. Let's not forget that little fact. Rock is on the board of directors, so technically he can do whatever the fuck he wants. So Cody can cash in his Royal Rumble shot, but if Rock wants the match, Rock can be like, guess what? I'm inserting myself into the match. And we end up with a triple threat match at WrestleMania. That's also a possibility. Because if there's the chance of getting a triple threat match, you know it's a WrestleMania that ends in the number 0. And that's what we are heading into. WrestleMania 40. We saw it at WrestleMania. We saw it at WrestleMania 20. We saw it at WrestleMania 30. I mean, fuck's sake. It wasn't a triple threat, but think of the whole scenario at WrestleMania 10, where we had 2 baby faces. And they had to flip a coin to see who was going to get the first shot, right? And then Brett would face the winner at the end of the show. Even that scenario was similar in a way, right? They were trying to gauge which babyface they were going to go with, and they ended up going with Brett because the fans made their voices heard. They wanted Brett over Luger, and so they went with Brett, and Brett became the face of the new generation. It's like every 10 years, there's some convoluted scenario that plays itself out for WrestleMania. It's unbelievable. And it's happening again now with WrestleMania 40. So maybe it's something that we should have all expected. I did mention to you guys before that I put a poll up on Twitter earlier today, and the poll was simply asking which of these options you would prefer to go with. And with over 3,300 votes, the overwhelming majority of you voted for Cody Rhodes against Roman Reigns as the preferred WrestleMania match. Roman Reigns working both nights, which would be one night against Rock and one night against Cody, got 32%. Rock against Roman, not even 11% of the vote. So at least with these 3,000 plus, this gave you a sense of where people's heads were at as far as what they wanted to see. And that was before the event tonight. This was earlier today. You can still vote, by the way. The poll's still open. Now I want you guys to tell me what you thought of the way things played out at this event tonight. And if you got questions for me, hit me with them. Hit me with the AMA. Ask me anything about this whole situation, and I will do my best to answer your questions, your scenarios, whatever it is you want to talk about. Hallelujah. Hey, Base Beerus, thank you, brother. Thank you very much. Look at this. Boy, you're a chatty bunch, aren't you? Well over 4,000 people still with us here. Look at that. Bushwhacker Solomonster says hello to all of our new subscribers. Don't worry, he only comes out once every blue moon. As long as you don't feed him after midnight, it's fine. Hey, Daniel Carr. Row Roman Reigns gently down the stream. Row Roman Reigns gently down the stream. There you go. You gotta row that bitch gently down the stream. Daniel Carr chiming in here with the $5. Says Rock and Roman against Cody and Seth is in my opinion, a great solution. It protects both Rock's gas tank and Seth's leg. However, how will this impact Drew? See, I'm looking at that. I was looking at that as a potential Elimination Chamber match, and then realizing that Seth is hurt and they can't really do it there. But, you know, to do that at WrestleMania, you gonna do a tag team match at WrestleMania? You know, unless you do Cody and Seth against Rock and Roman on night one. I don't know how I feel about that. I guess that would that mean no World Heavyweight title match? I mean, how would that work? Is Seth going to pull double duty and do a tag match on night one and then a title match on night two on the undercard? You know, maybe they open the show with it. Hey, Metal Rules, thank you. So, I mean, look, there's a way you could do it. You got 2 nights of WrestleMania. So if you want to do a tag match on night one, you could do that. And then it's just a matter of who goes over, right? Rock and Roman could go over on night one. And then Cody comes back and wins the title on night two. But I was thinking of it more on a PLE before WrestleMania, not at WrestleMania. Devin from New Jersey, 2000. Is Solo a long gamer? Am I a long gamer? Considering all the years I reviewed Raw, especially when the show was at its dirt worst, hoping that it would get better, yeah, I would consider myself to be a long gamer. I don't even know how you could ask me that question. Texas Aggie. Cody against Roman is official. We're back, boys. Let's go. Keep up the great work, Solomonster. Corey Hodgson with the $10 super chat. Do you think the AEW locker room was surprised when they heard Punk's solution to solve the problem was for everyone to punch each other in the mouth? No, I think that was pretty much right on brand. They were like, yep, that sounds like Phil. PB and Shane, Rocky was out of breath and almost tore his pec after slapping Cody. Can you imagine if Rock got hurt at the press event? JS Warrior 19 with the $20. Hey, JS Warrior, thank you. The Rock will align with Roman until he witnesses Roman doing something so atrocious that it disgraces the Bloodline family and finally realizes that Cody was right, ultimately turning face and raising Cody's hand at the end. Again, you know, he said he's a long gamer, so I don't know that you need to necessarily have it play out that way in the next, 6 or 8 weeks. If Rock was going to stick around a little bit longer, that'd be nice, instead of just a one and done. But I could see it playing out that way. The Real CS, I loved how they made that seem unscripted. Holy shit, makes me think that this was always part of the plan. Rock and Roman against Cody and Seth at Elimination Chamber. The Carlosis, heel Rock, says, never thought that they would have the balls to do it. My idea was Solo and Jimmy against Rock and Stone Cold on night. What, Rock and Stone Cold? Come on, dude. Rock and Stone Cold. Are we really going to bring back the old band here? I mean, I guess it would be kind of cool to see Rock and Stone Cold doing something together again. The Judgment Day not leaving me alone even on a Thursday. Not fucking Monday, and the Judgment Day is still interrupting me. Where does Solo Sikoa fit in all this? Who cares? I don't even care at this point. No, I mean, look, Solo Sikoa, I always said that when Roman loses Solo, he's officially lost the bloodline. Now with Rock getting himself involved, I do feel like whatever they may have been doing with Solo, that might end up on the back burner. Solo kind of feels like a non-factor here, to be honest with you. But, it could also be a case where Rock convinces the other members of the family. Like, he comes around and tells Solo and Jimmy, look, this guy, he's just using you. He's going to kick you to the curb, He doesn't represent the family. There'll be some kind of drama that plays out. He'll walk away from Roman at some point.
Do you feel him, sir?
I do. But the Carlosis says if the Bloodline lose, they are banned from the building on night 2. All the star power plus Cody's story. Yeah, again, Stone Cold, you don't need Stone Cold involved in this. HBKC83, still more questions than answers. That was done on purpose. That was done intentionally because they want you to tune into SmackDown, they want you to tune into Raw. Ace of Masta. Garbage angle to try to distract from the news cycle from the rape scandal. Oh, I'm sure they're very happy to get all the publicity now about The Rock and everything going into WrestleMania. They're more than happy to distract from all of the negative headlines they've been getting. But again, there's going to be new stories that come out, and it's just going to keep bubbling up. And I promise you, that's a story that's not going to go away. Chris Williams, I guess The Rock's the new Mr. McMahon. Well, hopefully not as rapey as Mr. McMahon. Let us hope. Kevin McCarran, I like how Rock referred to the Bloodline as the only royal family in wrestling. Fits with Cody's intro and is another step away from the McMahons. Yeah, I mean, the McMahon name, I mean, it's amazing.
Look at Richie Rich over here.
The McMahon name has basically gone down the toilet at this point.
I just want you to know, I think you rock. I don't mean The Rock, A Rock, you rock. And I just wanted you to know that.
JM hitting me with a $100 super chat bomb. JM, man, thank you very much. And Kenny Britton. By the way, you know, Kenny and everybody else, shout out to all the new subscribers that are jumping on board here tonight. I hope you enjoy your stay. Welcome. We've been picking up a lot of newbies lately. It's great to see. If you are not one of them, but you're watching this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. When you do, make sure the notifications are turned on. So that way, when I go live on a night like this where I usually don't go live, you'll get notifications about that and other content that goes up here on the channel. JM, though, before I get to your bomb, he dropped a $40 super chat after Velvet Floor 18 dropped a $10 super chat. Velvet Floor said, "Don't worry, Cody Rhodes, Asper Cream is sold somewhere in Vegas." And JM says, "To me, the best part of that presser was CM Punk. One of the last of a dying breed that can sound authentic on the mic and not robotic and rehearsed. Punch people in the face, Solomonster." He forgot the second part of that, though, which is punch people in the face and then sign an NDA. I'm not really interested in that. But JM, thank you for the $40 super chat. Aaron with the $50 says, "Do you think it'll be a triple threat, or is Roman going to pull double duty? Night 1 against The Rock and night 2 against Cody?" To me, that idea is out the window now. And I think that if Rock is saying he's going to wrestle at WrestleMania, and if that's the case, I think we're looking at what somebody just suggested, the tag match, but on night 1 of WrestleMania and not the Elimination Chamber, because Seth has to heal up. They do a tag match on night 1 with some stakes on the line that feeds into what happens in night 2. Or Rock inserts himself into the match and makes it a triple threat, because he's on the board. He can do that. He has the power to do that. They could have a power struggle angle going on here with him and Triple H. They could let that play out on TV. Like, there are ways where you have Rock as a heel that you can make this very entertaining. If Rock is committed to making the appearances and putting the work in and putting the time in, then there are lots of different ways you could go with this that can make it very entertaining, including Rock kind of being a thorn in Triple H's side on TV. Even though Triple H really doesn't appear on TV very often, they have GMs for each show. But, you know, it doesn't mean that he can't make appearances. But Aaron, thank you, man. Arabian Night 2000, holy shit, this 45-minute PLE was a banger. Did not expect that. I was thinking, man, Punk is probably fuming at the panel wishing to be a part of this. Yeah, you know, Punk is, I'm sure he was itching to be out there on stage with Seth so they could officially, well, I don't want to say officially announce their match, because I think Punk was going to lose the Rumble no matter what. And so, you know, he probably would have won the Elimination Chamber and then probably would have gotten a shot at Seth that way. Magician Sapphire, is it just me, or did they make Seth look like a damn idiot out there tonight? He was a non-factor once The Rock came out. They've been making Seth look like a non-factor and an idiot now for the last week. I mean, this was nothing like what they did to him last Friday. But yes, to answer your question, that's exactly how he came off. Velvet Floor, also, how is Seth a world champion begging for a match? Shouldn't it be the other way around? Yes. As I said, on Friday, last Monday, tonight. Rollins has not been looking good on these shows. He begged Cody. He practically got down on his hands and knees to lick his boots and beg for him to choose him as his opponent for WrestleMania. And then we saw what happened on SmackDown. We saw tonight. Rollins, I guess, is the sacrificial lamb in all this. I don't know how you can look at the way that he has been treated and portrayed on television since last Monday and think that if you're a Seth Rollins fan and be okay with that and think that that's acceptable for a guy who's supposed to be a world heavyweight champion. Lloyd Berry with the $25 Bree mode. Lloyd says, Jason, my heart was racing so much when Cody came out. If Seth is good to go, Seth and Cody against Rock and Roman at Elimination Chamber. I've seen some stupid takes like a four-way with a unification match. Yeah, and I just talked about that the other night. People are already talking about unifying the belts as if the only reason this title wasn't created was because it was on Roman Reigns. There are people who think Roman's going to hold on to it for another year. But people are still talking about a unification. This belt is not even a year old. And by the way, they're selling a lot of them. That belt was a pretty popular item in the Royal Rumble store over the weekend in Tampa, from what I saw. But the belt is how many months? 9 months maybe the belt has been around for, and people are talking about unifying it. I said a unification is what got us into this mess in the first place, with Roman as the champion and barely showing up. Let's not talk about a unification right now. The real J. Tim, Vin Diesel should show up and say, did someone say family and cost Rock the match? True long-term booking. Thanks for all you do, Solomonster. Well, that would be something. John says Rock and Roman together is perfect because Roman looked like little bro, and the end, this is going to prove Rock is the chief and Roman listens to him. Oh yeah, I mean, it's going to play into, that's why I said it was Rock who stepped to Cody and not Roman, which was very interesting. If Roman was the chief, it should have been him that stepped up and said what Rock said, but it was Rock who did it. And so I think we're going to see little, again, if it really is the long game here, let's say they're building to next year for a match between them and Rock is going to wrestle a different match or something this year. But you're going to see little things like that on TV until it just goes kaboom and things fall apart. Lady Fire Panda, point to the sign. You must, you shall. If I remember, I'll do it. You can't see it. The sign's not even in camera view right now. We'll do it after if I remember. Jazz Jackrabbit, Seth Rock, night 1. Cody Roman, night 2. Yeah, but again, Seth and Rock for the title?
Do you feel him, sir?
Were you gonna have Seth beat Rock? I mean, as if the potential Rock Roman match already had whatever heat that it had zapped from it. You're gonna have Seth Rollins pin the Rock? Not that I would mind if Rock wanted to put Rollins over, you know, the old guy coming back and doing the honors. I think that's fine, but I don't know that that makes a lot of sense for the story they're trying to tell. Retro Unlimited, I guess. Rock versus Reigns. That super chat just always cracks me up. Rock against Reigns and Cody against Rollins. Cody DQ on night 1. Night 2, the winners of night 1. Rock versus Cody, tag and eliminate. I think you're making it overly complicated now. You're making it overly complicated. Patrick, what I would do is Rollins and Cody against Roman and Rock on night 1 and Cody against Roman on night 2. I think there's a very good chance it plays out that way. They definitely set up a tag match when this thing was over. Because why else would Rollins be involved in this angle? And cussing and talking shit to The Rock the way that he was. So it clearly was designed to feed. And Big E, by the way, when they cut back to the panel and Big E, I like the fact that they clearly weren't scripting that panel because Punk and Big E, I mean, they were talking, but Big E's like, what does this mean? And he started outlining all of these possibilities like what we're talking about here. And he brought up The Rock being on the board. He brought up some other things too that was like, oh, that's interesting that he would say that on their show. So I like that. The antagonist, been a long-time listener but could not contribute for a bit. Wanted to chip in. Love your content. Hey, thank you, man. Thank you very much. Zachariah Sitchin, when Rock showed the tribal lineage, all that came to my mind was the intro to Cody's theme. Wrestling has more than one royal family. Now we're getting heel Rock linking up with Roman. Yeet. Joey says WWE stans who defend The Rock don't understand. If this angle with The Rock is in fact a work, it is a shit work. So Joey is not a fan. He's not a fan of any of this stuff. Prince Vegeta, Rage quit wrestling after last Friday's nonsense. Glad now they have hopefully corrected that course. Arabian Night, we are getting Rock and Roman against Cody and Seth at the Chamber? Question mark. We're gonna. I think we're gonna get it. Chamber though doesn't seem very likely unless Seth makes some sort of miraculous recovery where they're gonna clear him in time for that show. Mr. Ruby Dog, what school do you go to? I go to the School of Hard Knocks. That's the school that I go to. Skull Dipper, I have a feeling we're getting a DX Tyson type of angle with Cody, Rock, and Roman, with Rocky taking on the role of Mike Tyson. You know, it's interesting you mentioned that because I just talked about that the other day too. And I didn't think about it before. Could it be a situation where Rock and Cody are in on it together? It just doesn't make sense, though. It just doesn't make sense. Because what would be the point of doing it this way? All Cody had to do was come out on TV last week and say, Roman, I pick you. That's it. And he would have had his WrestleMania match. Now, if the idea is that he would do it this way so that the Bloodline thinks they have Rock on their side, and then when they try to get involved in the match at WrestleMania, Rock says, not so fast, and pulls a Tyson, like he was never part of DX the entire time, he only made them think that he was. Yeah, I mean, you could do that. Yeah, you could do that, but you also, I feel like you probably could have accomplished the same thing by just having Rock either as the enforcer or have him come out and fight off the Bloodline. To me, that's the only way to make sense of that idea, though. And even then, it's still, like, convoluted in ways that it didn't have to be. But yeah, it's possible. It's possible that we come to find out Rock has been ashamed of the way that Roman has been winning his matches. He feels that Roman has shamed the family. And so this was his way of trying to send a wake-up call. Roman thinks that they're like this. We get Cody and Roman at WrestleMania. Rock's at ringside. Rock, he's on board, right? He can do whatever he wants. He makes himself the referee. Or he's at ringside in Rock's corner. And when the Bloodline tries to get involved and Solo's got that thumb taped up, is when we find out that Rock is in fact not on Roman's side. And he clears a path for Cody to win fair and square. Cody beats Roman. Roman now loses his title. He's all pissed off. And the long game is that we get Rock and Roman at WrestleMania next year. So there's another way that you can play it.
It's the amazing Gunther. Jerry Lawler loves Gunther the Magnificent. All hail Gunther.
Aaron with another $50 Gunther bomb. Gunther getting some play on the stream tonight. I like it. I like it. Hey, Aaron, thank you, man. I'm working my way up the list here. Ronan Mike Clips. This event was not free. People paid $500 to $2,500 to attend. $2,000 tickets got you a signed Cody belt, a photo op with Triple H, and a post-cocktail reception. So what the fuck was this about, this being a free event? That's how it was being advertised. I mean, look, I'm assuming that a good number of the people that we saw probably got in for free. And what you're talking about, I'm sure they probably had special tickets that got you all those perks. So that's probably what it was. right? Because wherever there's a way for them to make money by doing stuff like that, they'll do it. But, no, I mean, everybody you saw in that building tonight did not pay $500 to be there. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Those are the VIPs. They have VIP tickets at every event. Trey Jones. Messy way to get there, but I'm definitely intrigued by The Rock on the road to Roman and Cody too. Could you see Rock and Cody in Perth? Big fan, Solomonster. Rock and Cody in Perth. I'm not expecting it. I'm not expecting it, no. 2 weeks notice, you're going to have Rock against Cody in Perth. I don't see it. I also think it's a risk that's not worth taking because Rock has not wrestled a proper match in years. And Rock may go in there the first time he gets back in the ring and he may get hurt. And so if they have bigger plans for him at WrestleMania, whether it's a tag match or make it a triple threat, I don't know that you want to run the risk of Rock getting in there in a singles match and getting hurt. I think that would be pretty dumb. So my guess is I'm going to say no. We are closing in on 1,000 likes, I've been told. Well, come on, man. Get me to 1,000 at least. At least. We had almost 5,000 in here before. Surely we can do at least 1,000 likes live. I know you guys can get me there. Rodimus Prime, the fact that people are or have threatened The Rock's daughter is pathetic. That is all that I can say. Yeah, it's pathetic. It's ridiculous. There's no place for that. There's no situation that should escalate to where people are making death threats on someone's daughter over a pro wrestling angle. You have to be out of your fucking mind to get to the point where you are doing that sort of thing. James Cousins, heel Rock makes this way more exciting. I didn't think his ego would allow it. Love how unpredictable this is. Fahad with the $120 super chat from an hour ago. Fahad, thank you. Thank you. We just hit 1,000 likes. There you go. Now get me to 1,100. Fahad says, I know it made no sense, but that kickoff was pro wrestling. They definitely left things in an intriguing way. As I said before, I give them credit for that. They got a lot of people talking. Whether they intended for it to go exactly the way they did or not, the one thing that they wanted was people talking about WrestleMania and not talking about something else. And so to that end, they got what they wanted. Defined Real. Did you notice they started erasing Vince from history when Cole said that Pat was undefeated at WrestleMania? I didn't even pick up on that. But yeah, they're... Any opportunity for them to erase Vince, not mention him, or, erase his commentary. Again, it's probably too late for 2K24. And plus, it's just, he's so ubiquitous with everything. I mean, he is and was for so long WWE, right? He did commentary for so many years, and the Attitude Era that everybody loves to romanticize. He's all over it. Not just with Austin, with everybody, with Undertaker, with Rock, with Mankind. He's everywhere. So it's impossible. You can't erase him. But any opportunity they have to downplay him or cut him out of this, cut him out of that, they're going to do it. And I don't blame them. They're doing it with Brock Lesnar. They took him off the cover of 2K24. The 40 years of WrestleMania mode. They took him off the cover of that. The Token Dom says, Punk giving a little jab after the Triple H interaction, saying the only way to fix something backstage is by punching them in the face. Yes, that's the first thing I picked up on. Andrew McGurns, Cody and Seth against Rock and Roman. Chamber. Cody against Roman at Mania. Justin Logue. Night 1. Rollins against Gunther. Title for title. One man's title reign ends. WWE loves their dumb records. They do love their dumb records. They have been going overboard with the records. Which is what worries me about this Roman Reigns stuff as we move along every month with the number of days they keep reminding us. Hopefully they're not that stupid to keep this going beyond WrestleMania with him as the champion, because it's completely unnecessary. JM says, when they put that giant family tree up, I expected Cody to come out with the sledgehammer and smash the LED board. Aaron, for the $50 super chat, we have to be getting heel Hollywood Rock, right? You saw with your own eyes here tonight. Clearly he's leaning into it.
Gunther. Jerry Lawler loves Gunther the Magnificent. All hail Gunther.
And that's actually a different one than the one I just read from Aaron. I'm not even sure we would call this Hollywood Rock. That's not really what this even felt like tonight. This just felt like corporate rock. It felt like corporate rock because he is on the board, and I have a feeling that he'll be exercising that power and that authority. So we may be looking more at a newer version of corporate rock than Hollywood rock. Tuxedo T Servo, Seth and the heavyweight title are so buried that he is going to wake up in China tomorrow. Ben Burnside, I would like these guys who send death threats to Rock's daughter to go to jail. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in some states I'm pretty sure that sending a death threat would count as assault. I believe you are correct, and I agree. I agree. I hope if anybody sent her DMs or anything like that, that she collects all that information and reports it to the authorities. And if they could track these people down and get them in trouble, then by all means, I hope that's exactly what happens. There's no need for that. There's no room for that. There's no need for that. There should be zero tolerance for people like that. Base Beer says lots of swear words got past the censors. Seth was whining like a child. You can't do that. Cody emasculated again. Needs to get his receipt. He will. Cody will get his receipt. Seth, I'm not so sure, but Cody will get his receipt. David, do you think that we are headed for a tag match at Mania? I think we're headed for a tag match. Mania would seem to be the place to do it on night one. Just because of Seth's injury. I just don't think we're going to get it before that. Bones Jones, from Hollywood Rock to Bloodline Rock. Yeah, Bloodline Rock, corporate rock. That's right. Board of Directors Rock. I see that as more of an accurate description. JM with the $22 super chat. Is that the Roman Reigns? I think it is. Are we sure Vince wasn't booking through Bruce? The fumble of this booking looks like one of the many Vince fumbles in recent years. Maybe Bruce goes to the back and says, call Vince McMahon, call Vince McMahon, like Paul Heyman does. So Bruce picks up his phone. I love it. Bruce he just picks up his phone and goes, call Vince McMahon. Is that what it is? I think you may be onto something. Boomerang. I love that the bloodline. Maybe, you know what? Maybe that's how Bruce tore his tricep. Bruce just had tricep surgery. Just like Punk did. Maybe he took his phone and he was picking his phone up so fast he tore his tricep. You know, he's not exactly a wonderful athlete. Boomerang. I love that the Bloodline Rhodes feud rolls deep. Now I wish Dustin was here. Remember who Rock beat in his first WWE match? Well, if you're talking about Survivor Series, I think Goldust was in that match, right? At the Garden? Zach Goller. It almost feels to me like The Rock is the Palpatine to Roman's Darth Vader. I am so for this. Metal Rules with the $25. Says, Gunther winning the Elimination Chamber and taking the belt from Rollins at Mania would be great. Well, there's a little problem with that. Either Gunther is not able to travel out of the country still and will not be at the Chamber, or you watch Raw Monday night, they're clearly setting up for him to defend against Jey Uso soon. Whether that is at the Chamber or on TV the Monday after. So that is not going to happen, I do not believe. First name John. I would like Rock to beat Seth on night 1 and Cody to beat Roman on night 2. Rock then is the only one in the bloodline with gold. So basically, we just end up with the roles reversed, where the WWE title becomes the workhorse title, and now the big gold belt is the part-time belt. Is that what we're doing here? Evan Watson, did you notice we want Cody? No, we don't. Yeah, well, I mean, that's probably what I mentioned that earlier. It was hard to listen if they were saying, let's go Cody, Cody sucks, or if they were saying, let's go Cody, Rocky sucks. So that may be what they were chanting. Ali says, zero excuse for death threats, but this is constant across fandoms. People claiming it's IWC specific are delusional. This is the internet cesspool. Yeah, but there's a lot of really disturbing individuals who do shit in the IWC fandom that deserve to be called out for being disturbing. I can't speak to other fandoms. You know what I've heard? I've actually heard that there's a lot of that goes on in the it's Star Wars. There's like a certain fandom that also is very toxic. I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't understand what's wrong with people. I guess they just didn't get enough love when they were kids. I don't know. Kung Fu Joseph, I'd rather watch Jay against Gunther at Mania than Jay against Jimmy. With no Rock match and Roman losing to Cody, do you throw family a bone with Jay winning the Intercontinental belt? I mean, you could do that. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Jey Uso wouldn't have been my first pick to be the one to take the belt off him, but you can't deny he's over. I mean, Jay is super over right now. Hollywood E. Rock. I always wanted The Rock to team with Roman anyway. I hope this kickoff leads to Rock versus Seth, Cody versus Roman 2, Bloodline takeover. So they win all the gold. Yeah. 2 part-time champions, that's not what we need. That is not what we need. Amir, my dude, even if Seth were healthy, it's a 21-hour flight from LA to Perth. You know damn well that flight don't work for Rock or Roman, brother. Come on, man. Rock has got the private jet. They can gas that thing up and fucking launch themselves over there if they want to, right? Look, a 21-hour flight is a lot easier when you're The Rock and you can pretty much fly around on whatever aircraft you want. They probably would just gas up the WWE corporate jet and let him use it. I don't think he could probably he can get work done. He can do anything he wants on that plane. The real J. Tim, I'm thinking we get Rock Roman against Cody and Seth on night 1.
Gunther.
Speaking of Gunther, here's Gunther.
The Magnificent. All hail Gunther.
And you know, Jerry Lawler calling Gunther Gunther that one time, and I tell you how much mileage I've gotten out of that super chat. Holy shit. But Aaron continues to kill it. Aaron continues to kill it tonight. But J. Tim says, tag match. Now, so he's thinking Rock Roman against Cody Seth night 1 and Roman against Cody on night 2. Old Rock and Hurt Seth could probably benefit from a tag match. They should totally call them that too. That should be their new names. It should be Old Rock and Hurt Seth. We have got a $2 super chat here. It was always a work, Solomonster. It's not a swerve. They're saying it's not a swerve. Those two things could kind of run counter to each other. Ian Noel says, for WrestleMania 41, maybe have to be the complete split of the Bloodline. Rock on the face side and then lose to Roman, who cheats and obliterates The Rock. Solo steps up to avenge The Rock at the following SummerSlam. What are your thoughts? Yeah. I don't even know if I would be interested in it at that point. I mean, how many years are we going to drag this Bloodline thing out for? So now, what you're suggesting there is that we get Roman and Solo at SummerSlam 2025? I mean, are we just going to go like a whole decade with this Bloodline story here? Are we really going to milk that cow until there's no milk left to be had? I can get to WrestleMania 41 with this Rock and Roman stuff, and at that point, we gotta move on. There's gotta be something even better that they can come up with creatively from 41 onward that we can jump in. Andrew says Cody infiltrated the Bloodline with Rock. The long game. Maybe, but again, I still fail to see. I still fail to see why that was necessary to do it the way they did it. Eric Joseph, thank you for the 5. Tuxedo says after Rock barked at Triple H, Roman told him you're lucky to be here. So they're building a power struggle story. Evan Watson, is it counterproductive to bury the World Heavyweight title? I feel like they are never going to have one champion work both shows again. Why make it harder to get the belt over? Yeah, I don't agree with them burying the belt the way that they are either. I think it's counterproductive. M. Mills, thank you for the 12 spot very much. Appreciate that. Preston Ridiculous, calling Rock to turn on Roman at WrestleMania, setting up 41. So again, a few of you have bought into the idea that maybe this is a Mike Tyson WrestleMania 14 situation. And that could be what sets up the 41 match between Rock and Roman. Yeah, but if they're doing a power struggle type thing though with Rock and Triple H, if that is what they're doing, I think that might be a telltale sign they're going a different way with this. Chris Auditor, if Rock uses his political stroke to insert himself into the Roman and Cody match, the fan reaction would be nuts. I want it to happen. We'll see, the beauty of it now is they've already set Rock up as the heel. So if Rock inserts himself into the match, it'll be intentional with the idea that they want him to get heat. They could say, well, you see, this was the plan. We wanted Rock to get heat from the word go. So when he gets booed, right, it's to be expected. So it's kind of like no matter what, they could turn around and say, well, see, that was always part of the calculus here. Whether it was or not, they can say that it was. Michael Stabile. Michael, I like the idea of the Rock and Roman long game, but I suspect Rock will turn on Roman at Mania to give Cody the win and return to his babyface ways. JM with a $100 super chat. All the little birds on Jabroni Street love to hear Rollins go tweet, tweet, tweet. Rock and Rollins is the match. Tweet, Tweedledee, LOL, you rock, brother. Going old school, I see, with the song. JM, thank you. Crypto and Poker, just do a 4-way at Mania. Give Roman all the belts. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's not give them any ideas. Why would Roman want the, why would he want the what's he calling it again? God, I forgot what he's calling it. I'll call it the consolation belt. Why would he want it? He's basically spit on it. He's taken a leak on it. Why would he care? Why would he want it? I guess just to piss off Seth. Cletus, Cody should beat all 3 of them in the same night. I don't see that happening. Brandon Vasquez. Is there any chance The Rock will go with his Hollywood 03 music at some point, or something brand new that's similar with different alternations? Probably not 03 if it was a Jim Johnston creation. They're phasing all that out. I wish they wouldn't. But if that was a Jim Johnston thing, then probably not, no. Chris Mikesell, can you rank your top 5 ring announcers and any word of when they will start announcing this year's Hall of Famers? I don't know when they're going to start announcing Hall of Famers. I have not heard anything, honestly, about the Hall of Fame. And it's already February, so it's getting kind of close. But they've got 2 months. And I don't think last year's Hall of Fame class was very big, right? They had like 5 people, I think. 4 or 5 people. As far as ring announcers, my A number 1 will always be Howard Finkel. So Howard Finkel is number 1 for me. WCW had some good ones too. They had Gary Michael Capetta. Even David Penzer. I like David Penzer back in the day. But for me, Fink is number 1. I am a really big fan of Samantha Irvin. I think she does a tremendous job. I'm a big fan of her work. You know, when I put her at number 2, I don't know if she's my number 2 or number 3. She's pretty high up on my list. But to me, it's Howard Finkel, and then it's everybody else. There's no point in even ranking everybody, because Fink, to me, is the gold standard when it comes to wrestling ring announcers. Buck's Basement says, Cody is going to benefit a lot from Rock being heel. Cody will take everything at Mania, and likely with The Rock helping him win it. You may be right. Could be Tyson all over again. J.O. at work, so I didn't watch, but I'm calling Rock screws Cody at Mania. So you see, we have two completely diverging ideas here. We have one camp where people think that it's going to be a Tyson situation, Rock's going to help Cody. And then people who think Rock is going to screw Cody, which would be absolutely terrible. If Cody gets screwed over and looks like a punk 2 years in a row, that would be a fucking horrendous idea. So I hope that is not what they do. Michaela Rose, anyone else feel like The Rock was genuinely mad about being booed tonight? It got a laugh out of me for sure. I think by now he is hip to the game, but I think that the reaction being as vociferous online as it was, and the trending hashtags and everything, and all of that, I definitely think it had to sting a little bit. Because again, I just don't totally buy into the idea that he knew exactly what the reaction was going to be. Especially the way they played it off on Friday. You know, they gave us the big stare down with him and Roman. I mean, think about this. Had they gone out there and gotten that reaction, and the reaction online was totally different, and everybody was like, man, you know, Cody, he'll get his day, but fuck, Rock and Roman, this is amazing. And it was an overwhelmingly positive response and a genuine excitement to see Rock and Roman at WrestleMania. Like, do you think we would be going through all of this right now? Do you think things would be playing out exactly the way they are? Jeremy says, Cody Cena against Rock Roman on night 1. Nah, I mean, if there's going to be a tag match, it's going to be Cody and Seth. Jeremy, thank you for the 5 and the 2. I appreciate that. Bender McSimpson, do you think Ricky Starks, Wardlow, etc. are looking at how easily Cody was going to be pushed aside and might reconsider jumping to WWE? No. Not at all. If they're counting down the days, or if they have an interest in going to WWE, believe me, this situation is not going to dissuade them at all. Because Cody Rhodes, whatever you think about what they did last week and how it's going to end up and everything, Cody Rhodes is still going to the main event of WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes is still in a pole position right now in this company. If anything, Ricky Starks is looking at that. As he was looking up at the lights on Wednesday, last night, he's thinking to himself, man, that day can't come quick enough. Psycho Jet Black. Is it the lighting? Yeah, it's the lighting. If I make the lighting darker, any darker, you're not going to be able to see me. But it's this light over here, and then it's the light in OBS, which I can adjust the levels and the luminance and all that kind of stuff. Why are you looking at my lips? You're kind of freaking me out a little bit here. Look in my eyes. What do you see? A cult of personality. Aaron says, Rock is so selfish. In a perfect world, we get Rock as the enforcer and Cody goes over. WWE realize they fucked up and are trying to change the narrative. So Aaron is standing on that opinion, that he believes that this was all I guess a pivot, or whatever word you want to use for it. Aaron, thank you again for the 50, man. Appreciate that. Justin says, if you pick someone to cross over from SmackDown to face Rollins at WrestleMania, who would it be? Someone from SmackDown. To challenge for the World Heavyweight title. Well, who do we got on SmackDown? We got AJ. But we already got that match in Saudi Arabia last year. Well, you know, there's Randy Orton. And I don't know that they're going to have a better match for him at WrestleMania this year. I could dig another Rollins and Orton match. It's been a while since we've seen that. LA Knight is going to be occupied, I believe, with Logan Paul. I don't want to disrupt that. Nick Grasso with the $4.99. Cody Rhodes and Vin Diesel versus The Rock and Roman night 1 after Cody can have a seat at the family's barbecue. Arabian Night, Cody and Triple H against Roman and Rock. Imagine the fireworks. Not gonna happen. Retro KOH, this was the best outcome. So many directions to go in. Rock Roman against Cody and Seth. A lit Mania main event. Punk Rock intrigue. Cody versus Rock. Says, I love this. Kung Fu Joseph, Seth considers himself Mr. WWE and the company workhorse, so being little brothered and pushed to the side has to feel shitty. Oh, I'm sure he does not feel very happy about the way things are playing out right now. I mean, he's probably not feeling great about the fact that he lost that match with Punk, because that would have been a huge match. So, I'm sure that he's going to be a good, I was going to say employee, but they're not technically employees. But he'll be a good little soldier, and he'll smile, and he'll go along with whatever they want him to do. Plus Ultra Adrian, I love what I saw at the press conference. This could be one of the best WrestleMania builds ever if they play their cards right. Petru Sandovici. Greetings from Romania, Solomonster. Keep it up. Well, Petru, thank you, man. I don't know if it's Petru or Petru. Petru Sandovici. I love that name. Thank you, brother. Casper the Barbarian. Rock shows up. Roman gets beat down. Saves Cody at WrestleMania. El Prez Cat. I need my goat Rock to come out to Hollywood theme. Aaron. Give me Sammy versus Drew versus Seth at WrestleMania. Apparently Drew is cooking on Twitter right now. What's he saying? What's Drew McIntyre saying? I need to know. Everything he says, everything he does now is gold. I need to know what Drew is up to. Aaron, I think that there's a very good chance of that happening. Unless they do the tag match we're talking about. They do that on night 1. But that to me would be the way to go if you're going to have a World Heavyweight title match. Rumpelmane. There's that foot emoji. Poofus. What if Austin is in Cody's corner and Rock is in Roman's corner at Mania? You know, to me, I think it takes attention off of where it needs to be. They already have a story going into this match. Rock has already now incorporated himself into the story. Austin doesn't have to be part of this. I would leave Austin alone. Austin, if you don't follow Austin on Instagram, he's doing just fine shoveling horse shit and going out to the barn and petting his cat Poncho. His cat Poncho has become a celebrity on Instagram. People are telling him he should create an Instagram just for Poncho the cat. Austin doesn't need WrestleMania this year. He and Poncho are going to be just fine. Trey Johnson, hashtag we got Cody. Says, let's go, boys. Casper. Rock shows up. Roman gets beat down, saves Cody. That's the same one he sent before. Unless I read that twice. Aaron. Cody better beat the shit out of The Rock the next time he's on TV. I get the sense that Aaron was not pleased with the way The Rock kind of worked his way into the story here. Nabil. I haven't watched wrestling in years. It feels weird that it's good after being garbage for so long. Well, I wonder why that is. Maybe it has to do with a certain someone who's not around anymore. First name John, exactly. You swap roles with the titles to continue the Bloodline story and let Cody finish his. Rock and Cody as champions. Mikey Clayman, Austin and Rhodes against Roman and Rock. Book it. Allie says Bloodline 2000 and new Bloodline coming soon. Don't say that. We all know what happened after that. Don't say that. Hotel Whiskey. It's the best kind of whiskey. Even though they charge you for it when you open the refrigerator door. Fucking scumbags. If I'm Dustin right now, I am begging for my release from AEW. I'm thinking tag main event, winning team takes both titles. So the idea here is that they would do a tag team match, basically winner take all, with all the gold on the line. And so what? Cody pins Roman, and Seth loses. And I'm sorry, Seth would retain his title, but Cody wins the title in a tag match. That's the WrestleMania main event, a tag team match. Like, that's the main event on night 2. Seth would love it because Seth would he would get his main event that he's wanted for so long. I mean, Seth would love it. Mikey asked Tony Khan would fear for his life if he was there. Nick Barraza, I have a feeling that Rock comes out of this a babyface. The Rock brand doesn't allow him to be a heel for long. Kazarian, what's the name of the song in the background? It is Unbroken. Unbroken by Onlap. You're welcome. Yankees fan for life. My condolences. Hey Solo, how about Rock against Cody at the Chamber for the right to face Roman Reigns? Not gonna happen. Already been made official. Cody and Roman at WrestleMania. Now we wait to see how The Rock will exert his power and influence, and whether or not we get the tag match on one of the nights of WrestleMania, because that's where I think it's going to go. Base beer is Cody got slapped by the Tooth Fairy. He did. Amir, thank you for the 20. Seth wasn't the only one who got dissed tonight. Bayley won the Rumble. Not on any posters, was not at the press event, but Bianca is there for reasons. They'd better bring back her old gimmick and have 200 inflatable tube people at WrestleMania. Now, I think the inflatable tube men are a thing of the past. But I did make the comment earlier. I said it was very odd that they had Bianca there. They had her there, and there was no Bayley, there was no Io. And that's one of your women's title matches at WrestleMania this year. The Winston Slip, what's your favorite movie of Rock's? Is it Doom? You know, I feel like a lot of people don't like Doom, or they never saw it. Doesn't get talked about a lot. I like Doom. I'm a fan of the movie Doom that Rock was in. I think Carl Urban, if I remember, he was the main character. Is it my favorite, though? I'm not going to count the Fast movies. I just feel like he kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like an ensemble thing. If I'm just looking at like Rock movies, and Rock wasn't even like the lead in the movie Doom. He wasn't like the main character. This was before he really like truly blew up in Hollywood. If I had to pick a Rock match that I would say was my favorite, he did a movie. God, I wish I could remember the name of it. It was a serious movie. I want to say he was a truck driver in the movie. Somebody in the chat let me know. You've got to know what I'm talking about here. And it wasn't Walking Tall, but there was some movie he did that I want to say he was a truck driver. Might have been based off of real life events. I don't remember the name of it. I like that movie. Oh, maybe it was Snitch. Maybe that was it. Maybe Snitch, yeah. Yeah, Snitch was good. Wapatapa, that cane grow... Oh, Negro. I said cane, Jesus. That Negro... Okay. Wapatapa. Fuck off with that shit, man. That Joe guy with the $5 super chat says, if we go with the long game, could this be a scenario where Rock turns on Roman? Roman is the one that goes babyface leading. See, Roman... I still feel like at the end of all this, Rock is going to be the one who is going to want to go babyface. Because, again, it's for his brand, right? Rock is going to be the one who wants to go babyface. So, if it comes to that, let's say they go to 41, who goes in as the babyface, who goes in as the heel? I'm going to say Rock babyface, Roman heel. Roman coming out of it, though, going to be a big babyface. Like, we may be a year and a half away from it, but at the end of all this, I'm telling you, Roman is going to have a huge babyface run. When all is said and done with this, he's not going out as a heel. He's going to go out as a badass babyface, I promise you. So that, I think that is where things are headed as far as that goes. Sam, thank you for the $2. A tag match in Perth, but RKO as Cody's partner. Yeah, but again, he doesn't really have anything to do with this, so it would just feel shoehorned in there for the sake of just being in there. So I don't see him having anything to do with it. Devin says Solo is a long gamer except in My Rise. You know, 2K24 is out soon, so we're going to have to start a brand new My Rise when we get to that point. That Joe guy. If we go with the long game, quote unquote, could this be a scenario where Rock turns on Roman, but Roman is the one who goes babyface leading to Mania 41? Just talked about that. Kung Fu Joseph. Like the Judgment Day alliance with the Bloodline from October, Cody giving up Mania match won't be brought up again. Nor should it be. Oh, Southland Tales is another one too, man. You're naming Rock movies that I haven't seen in forever. So, I feel like I've forgotten more Rock movies than anything else. Hey, Jamie just gifted 5 memberships. Jamie, thank you, man. Thank you very much. Jamie Dorsch coming in hot. Thank you, Jamie. But Kung Fu Joseph, you're probably right. Probably will never be brought up again. Orlando, I could see you, Orlando. I could see you, Orlando. Man, you guys came in very strong here, so a lot of good stuff, a lot of good scenarios. We'll see in the end how it all plays out. But I said before that we had hit 1,000 likes, and we are currently standing at almost 1,200. So I know I didn't say anything about it, but you know what that means. Actually, before we get to that, Base Beer says, remember when Vince Vaughn was in Psycho? I do. I try to forget, though. I try to forget. All right, you guys really knocked it out of the park. So I'm going to give you a rare Be the Booker here on a Thursday night. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen,
here we go.
It is now time
Let's
to
do
be
it.
the Booker.
Let's do it. You guys earned it. You guys, man, you guys killed it tonight. So let's go ahead and be the Booker. What do we get on SmackDown? Wonder what we get on SmackDown tomorrow, says Bryan. Well, that's the whole point. They want you to tune into SmackDown tomorrow. They want you to tune into SmackDown the next week to see which direction they're going to go. That's why they left you with more questions than answers at the end of that event tonight. It was smart. It was smart of them to kind of end it the way that they did. That pick is outdated. I guess it is, actually. We'll get it at some point. All right, let's do the deal here. We've got Swerve in Our Glory as our first team here. We've got Keith Lee. We've got Swerve Strickland, the former tag team champions in AEW. A fine team for the time that they lasted together. Who do they match up with, though? Hey, Aunt Bays, 97, welcome to the channel. See, you get a little Daniel Garcia dance. That's my gift to you for joining the channel. Swerve in Our Glory against Mansois and Massey. The maximum male models. From the mind of a madman, we have the maximum male models. That don't work for me, brother. They're very funny, though. If you actually follow them on social media or watch any of their YouTube stuff or Twitch, whatever it is, outside of the gimmick, they're actually very entertaining together. It's too bad they couldn't tap into that on TV. They had to give them the silly gimmick. We begin with the... Nope. Forgot that she was in here. The not-so-fabulous Moolah. Well, fuck her. We're going to start over again. That's what we're going to do. That's an automatic restart. I should probably just take her out of there. Pretend that didn't happen. We start over and we begin. Now, there we go. See, now we're on the right track here. Now we've got Kairi. Kairi Sane. Hey, Christopher Hinson. Welcome to the channel. Takeshita, there he is, ready for combat. Kairi gonna go one-on-one with Cora Jade. How are we feeling about that? You know what? I'll give that the bell. Poor Cora Jade came back, almost immediately tore out her knee, ACL, out for 9 months. Tough break. Kairi and Cora. You might see that match on the main roster one day. One more to go. One more to go. All right, here we go. In the main event, we begin with Mankind. My favorite Mick Foley iteration, Mankind. You can take your Cactus Jack. I'll take Mankind. Mick Foley wants one last death match when he turns 60 years old next year. We're going to give him one more Mankind match. And it's going to be against the Honky Tonk Man. Oh, man. Mankind against the Honky Tonk Man. You can shake, rattle, and roll that match on out of here. I can't give that the bell. What are we doing here? Mankind and Honky Tonk Man? The maximum male models against Swerve and Our Glory? The hell are we doing here? Didn't we go 3 for 3 last night? I thought we had something good going here, and then we just completely shit the bed. Except for the women's match. Elijah says, Fatal 4-Way, Cody, Roman, Rock, and Seth, with both belts on the line. I don't like the Fatal 4-Way idea. I would much rather it just be a one-on-one match. I could tolerate a triple threat. I just, Fatal 4-Way, you could do it. You could smush them all together in one match and have it, winner take all. I don't love that idea. I'm not a fan of that idea. And Amir says, Rock did a movie playing Shazam's villain, did not have Shazam in the movie, and turned the character babyface. He is not going to be heel for long. No. Plus, didn't he just announce Moana 2 is coming out? Right? He's going to have to do all this Moana press. So believe me, he ain't going to be a heel for that long. Enjoy it while it lasts, because it's not going to last that long. Amir says, you just reminded me of Moolah's allegations. Combine that with Vince's allegations, and that picture takes on a new light. Yikes. Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of dirtbags in the wrestling industry over the years. Just imagine all the shit that must have been going on back then with just different people that we will never know about. Those people are very fortunate they didn't live in a world of instant communication and social media and smartphones with cameras on them. Anyway, you guys blew me away tonight. Again, this was a special bonus stream for the event in Vegas. I thought, didn't want to wait, go live and talk about it. We outlined, I think, pretty much every potential scenario. Which one they're going to go with, we'll have to see. But laid it all out there. I kind of gave you a sense of where I think it may be going. And at the end of the day, the most important thing is that Cody Rhodes is going to go to WrestleMania, and he is going to get his match with Roman Reigns. Now, whether it turns into a triple threat or not, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. but it would have been absolute booking malpractice. Whatever business Rock and Roman would have done in the short term, it would have been booking malpractice to just stick Cody in a match with Seth and say, better luck next time, kid. Especially coming off that Royal Rumble win. Would have been ridiculous. So I'm glad he's going to the main event of Mania, and now we'll see how it plays out on TV. We'll probably find out more tomorrow night as well. I'm sure there'll be some developments about this on SmackDown tomorrow night. I'll be live again in less than 24 hours talking about that. If you missed my Dynamite recap, an excellent episode of Dynamite, the best one all year so far. A lot of good stuff last night. Go back and check it out. That's up on the channel as well. Hit that like button on the way out. All my new subscribers, welcome. Check out all the other content here on the channel, and make sure you hit that bell. So when I upload or I go live, you'll be notified. All of our new channel members, memberships are open as well if you want to take a peek. If that's something you might be interested in, I would appreciate that as well. So be well, stay safe. I will see you back here tomorrow night. We'll talk SmackDown. We'll do it all over again. Until then, take care, guys.
Unbroken.
Watch where you're thinking that they'd give you anything. You build them up while they tear you down, but still you never give up. You never give up.
They
No.
would soak the fire as you hope to rise. It was mostly lies that you broke inside. I know it's all love, I just gotta complain. I got your back, we gon' rise to the flames. You'll be at it again. I won't let go. I'll be by your side. Won't let you drown. I won't let go, and nothing can stop me. I'm broken. The same old story, it drives you crazy. They put you first in line and we're never around, but still you never give up. You never give up, no. That's rock you down. Step back and throw it all away. There's pain inside. Face it and throw it all away. I won't let go. I'll be by your side. Won't let you drown. I won't let go, and nothing can stop me. I'm laughing at all your problems and calling you out your name. They'll walk all over your carcass and chalk it up to the game. They're ripping your heart apart and just tossing it to the flames. And through all of that pain, you are made.
Unbroken.
Don't let them stress, you will shine forever and never. Catch you slipping, we just sidestep them and sever the ties, the lies, and all of the fears inside. You've always been a friend of mine, so from now to the end of time.
I won't let go. I'll be by your side. Won't let you drown. I won't let go. I'll be by your side. Won't let you drown. I won't let go, and nothing can stop me.
You're laughing at all your brothers and calling you out your name. They'll walk all over your carcass and chalk it up to the game. They're ripping your heart apart and just tossing it to the flames.
Unbroken.